All right. So welcome everyone. I'm Ti Caudron from VitaliTi Wellness, and this is our prep call for the Zippi, which is our 2-week accelerated version of our classic Reset Cleanse. And I wanted to have a call today to go through all the nutritional supplements that I use when I do the cleanse, because I wanted to give everyone a little bit more background on the why and the how and the whether to use them, and then give you enough time to actually place an order. Then at the end of this call, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about specific supplements for COVID-19 that we have in our medicine cabinet now, and that everyone I love, I'm trying to get them all loaded up with the right supplements now, so that when we're allowed out in the world and we're more exposed, that we have our arsenal ready to go. Designs for Health is back ordered on a few of them, and so you want to get in line basically to get yourself ready for that. So I'm just delighted that you guys are here. I'm so excited for those of us who have registered for the cleanse, and any mastery folks who are on the call, you can register with your free mastery password that you have. So if you've forgotten what that is, you can just text me and I'll send it to you. And then once you register, you're going to get all the information with the schedule and with how to get into the Zoom calls, although you guys are already here, so that's awesome. And the schedule for this week is going to be today, Monday, we have our supplement call. And then on Thursday, I'm going to do another call at 4 o'clock on menu planning. So I'm just so excited for that. So anything that you can do between now and then to start thinking of your own menus, we're going to do some sharing on that call, so that people can get prepared maybe over the weekend, make a few things, make sure that our groceries get delivered, or however we're doing that, so that we're ready to go for the cleanse. So I'm excited to offer this prep week because it's not something that I have done in the past, and it's kind of neat that this virtual environment lets us do that. So before I jump into supplements, I wanted to mention that anytime you're getting ready to do a nutritional program, I think it's really important to take stock. And those of us who did the Power Up did that, where maybe you weigh yourself, you might look for a truth-telling outfit and try that on. Just take stock of what your habits are right now, how things are going, and then how you're feeling. So what your mood has been like. Of course, we have a lot of extraneous factors, but even with that, what your mood's been like, your focus, your inflammation, all those kinds of things. And the reason you might want to take stock today is that I find just the intention of starting something is very powerful in terms of shifting behavior. So as long as you don't fall into that mindset of, I'm starting to cleanse, so I have to eat everything now, but instead do what I call leaning in, and which is what we did in the Power Up, then I think it's a good time to take stock, because you may make progress this week and you want to count it. It's like making sure you have your Fitbit on. All right, so I am going to try sharing my screen, and actually I'm just sharing the screen, and let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. I think that's right. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Look at that. All right, so this is in the Zippi materials. And then this is from my website. So when you go to the VitaliTi Wellness website, let me just move this. Okay, so when you go to the VitaliTi Wellness website, and that's VITALITI Wellness website, like my name, then you go to nutritional products. From there, you can either shop for Designs for Health supplements, which is mostly what we'll be talking about today, or for those of you who are doing the keto version, you can shop for keto supplements. And so today we're going to shop for Designs for Health. And then once you get there, I've loaded up the Reset or Zippi supplements, same supplements, so that they're right there. You certainly do not need all of these, and supplements are always optional on our program. So I call them easy buttons, because they're ways to make the program simpler and to accelerate your results. And then in the case of COVID-19, the supplements are really to boost your immune system, but they're always optional. So what I want to start with is my favorite supplement. I'm laughing because this one has a bad reputation. It used to be called Paleo Cleanse, and now it's called Veggie Cleanse. And it's basically a powder that we're going to use to support our liver in detoxification. And for those of you that are not familiar with what the liver does, the liver is really important in terms of detoxification because it helps the body to get rid of waste, to get rid of toxins. And it's also very important for digestion. And little known fact, it also does a lot for fat metabolism. So one of the reasons that it helps so much to detoxify the liver when you're losing weight is that it frees the liver up to be able to do a better job at fat metabolism. Also, as we've noticed in our classes when we weigh in on the Tanita scale, a lot of weight gain is caused by inflammation. So as your liver starts to function better, as you detoxify better, then you're going to get better results on the scale. Sometimes when people lose weight, they actually increase their inflammation. And the reason that they increase their inflammation is that in your fat cells are stored toxins. So as your body starts to burn fat and release fat, you also release toxins. Now, once those toxins are running loose in your bloodstream, they create inflammation. And if you don't have enough nutritional support to actually get rid of the toxins, then they end up getting reabsorbed and you end up holding on to fat again. So you can get caught in a very weight loss resistant cycle where basically you lose fat only to flood your body with toxins, to then become inflamed, to then gain back the fat to recapture the toxins. So in our case, we want to actually stop that from happening. And that is one of the main reasons for using the supplements, in particular, the Veggie Cleanse. Now, one of the things about Veggie Cleanse is in some of my programs, I haven't used Veggie Cleanse. And I found that people didn't nearly get the good results that they got as when they did Reset and Zippi. And now I'm recommending that everyone who is in our mastery program and our ongoing program use Veggie Cleanse once a quarter or 3 times a year to basically keep your liver really tuned up and make sure that you're getting rid of toxins effectively. So the Veggie Cleanse is actually a protein powder. And so let's see. Let me go back to my little screen. All right, so it's a protein powder. And so I'm going to just click on this larger image here. And you can see all the things that are in there. Oh my gosh. So 1 scoop, 14 grams of protein, but then it also has a multivitamin, multimineral. That's what all this is. And it also has all of these sulfur amino acids. So what is really important about sulfur amino acids is they help the body to detoxify. They basically complete, oh, you guys can't see this. Sorry. I just realized that nobody can see that. So let's see, is that better now? Okay, let me stop the sharing. All right, that wasn't very fun, huh, to see that? I was looking at the ingredients, but they weren't being shared with anybody. So when you pop up a window, I have a feeling it doesn't share it. So anyway, back to this. But all those sulfur amino acids basically help to complete the detoxification process in your body. And the antioxidants help to protect your body from the toxins. So the way that we use the Veggie Cleanse is we combine it with another protein powder. So I just want to look at the chat really quick because Anu said, oh yeah, detox support packets versus Veggie Cleanse. Perfect. Okay. So how we use the Veggie Cleanse, however, and it looks like this, here it is. And I prefer not the Veggie Cleanse Plus, but the straight Veggie Cleanse, is we combine it with a protein powder. And I'm very specific about which ones. We want to use a vegan protein powder. And so the ones that I recommend, the ones that we've used really successfully, are Veggie Meal from Designs for Health, which is really good tasting these days. It's awesome. And then Arbonne, this is the chocolate. They both come in chocolate and vanilla, which is one of the best tasting protein powders. Has just a terrific mouthfeel. So either one of these. The Arbonne is a little bit sweeter than the Designs for Health. So I use both. When I want to make it more like a dessert shake, then I use the Arbonne. And when I'm really cleansing my palate and not wanting it to taste sweet, then I use the Veggie Meal. So what we're going to be doing on the cleanse, and I'm going to be going through this more specifically, is we combine the veggie meal and the veggie cleanse together to make the shake. Now, also in that shake are going to go a few other things. And let me just see if I can get this to work this time. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's try this. Okay. So these are our Zippi recommended supplements. And up here we have the website. It's through the VitaliTi Wellness website. And the I Want It All is basically for people who are like, give me everything. I like to have everything. I like to have myself all set up. So we talked about the veggie cleanse and we talked about the veggie meal, which gets added to it. And as I mentioned, you can also use the Arbonne protein powder. And then we're also going to add a fiber to it. And the reason we're adding fiber is that fiber is very important to detoxify. Things ride out on fiber, like excess cholesterol rides out on fiber, as an example. And this is a particularly good one. It has 13 different vegetable and fruit fibers so that you're getting a variety, and it really helps with your blood sugar levels. I also like the Arbonne fiber. I like the paleo fiber better because it has insoluble and soluble fibers, and insoluble are very helpful for detoxification. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of paleo fiber to our shakes. The other thing that we're going to add are, for a lot of us, are paleo greens. They are what I'm drinking right now and often drink. So with the paleo greens, a teaspoon is 2 servings of veggies. And they're really helpful because even though we're going to be eating lots of vegetables during the cleanse, sometimes you want something in between meals, like right now. And you can drink the paleo greens anytime. Also, they do not have fiber on purpose so that you absorb them quicker into your body. So you get all those nutrients right away. So I'm going to see if this works this time. And we're going to go to this screen and tell me, do you guys see, oh, it says pinch out for a bigger view. This time, do you see the whole screen or you don't see it? You just see that bar that's up on the window. Do you guys see this? Let me look at the chat box. Oops, I went into the wrong thing. Let's see.
We're just seeing the bar.
You are? Okay, that's so uninteresting. All right, I'm gonna have to clearly another note in terms of my learning how to do Zoom better, so I'll work on that. So in terms of then the shakes is, you will often put in a lot of vegetables into your shakes. So they're meant as a vehicle to add certain whole foods to them. So like at our house, we got 2 huge bags of frozen vegetables from Costco. And I will show you those on Thursday. And Tony puts 2 scoops of those frozen vegetables into his shake that he's having every day. We'll also get like big things of organic spinach and put it in the freezer and then add that to the shakes. So we're still getting lots of greens in, but the paleo greens just add an extra level of nutrition to your shakes and to what you're doing. The other thing that I have on this sheet for people that are the I Want It All kind of people are the C+ BioFizz, which is really important right now with COVID, and the Paleo Reds. So the C+ BioFizz is a powdered vitamin C that's super tasty. It's got a citrusy taste to it. And the Paleo Reds are very fruity fruit flavor, basically like a fruit punch flavored powder. Now, the reason those are so important for COVID is that they have all kinds of nutrients. The reds have all kinds of phytonutrients in them that are really important to fight off any kind of infection. And same with the vitamin C. So both of those are great to have just as part of your ongoing, what you're doing to like put on your armor. And on the cleanse, we won't be eating a lot of fruit. So we're not going to get a lot of the nutrients that we would get from fruit, hence using the Paleo Red. Now, the shaker bottle is just an easy little bottle like this. You may have a bunch. We have like 5, but I feel like I can't have enough of those. And that will make up your shake. Now, you definitely do not have to make shakes when you're on the cleanse. So if you're thinking like, oh, that's not for me, I really like to eat my meals, you don't have to make shakes. However, I will say that making a nutritional shake is a really important skill, because it allows you to have what I call an easy button, which is a no excuses, as Rob said yesterday, a no pieces way to have a quick meal that's really nutritious and filling, and without, like, if you haven't done the greatest job menu planning, if the family's eating something, that you can just push that easy button is really important in terms of being able to make a shake. The other thing is that I recommend that everybody use the Veggie Cleanse. So regardless of if you're going to make a shake or not, you can have the Veggie Cleanse in water basically and drink it. So half a scoop, for example, in water, and then eat that with your meal, drink that with your meal. And that's to really provide extra detoxification that we're going for. The cleanse, you can think of it as two parts. Part one is removing the foods and beverages that cause us to become toxic. We're especially removing the ones that are high impact on the liver so that the liver can rest. And then part two of the cleanse is adding hypernutrition, including supplements that really support detoxification. So I'm going to pause here for a minute, get some input from you guys around the shakes. And just in your chat box, go ahead and type in whether you've done shakes before on a Vitality program or in another program if you like them, what some of your favorite recipes are. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to turn to Liz, and she's going to do just a quick 5-minute functional workout. Let's see if she's still here. Unless she already hopped off. Oh, good. Oh, perfect. There you are. And Liz, as I've mentioned before, is the owner and head trainer at Get Fit Strength and Conditioning in Davis. And we're so excited to partner together on this cleanse to basically add power to the Zippi Cleanse. And Liz is going to do quick mini workouts with us, basically on Wednesday and Friday at 5 o'clock over the same Zoom, and then Saturday mornings at 10. And they'll be 20, 25 minutes, suitable for all fitness levels, and just give us another way to connect, another way to stay engaged, and just make us more confident about our workouts. So Liz is going to give us a quick 5-minuter right now to get us up and moving, and then we're going to talk more about shakes. All right, Liz, take it away.
Okay,
Thank you,
great.
my friend.
Thanks, T. So just to give you guys a little bit of information, I always start off our warm-ups with some dynamic movement and some balancing stuff. So oftentimes when you're new to the balance and coordination part of training, we use a broomstick or a sort of stick of some sort, or a PVC pipe. You may not have that available to you today, but just hanging on to your chair will work. I'm going to use my PVC pipe so that you guys can see what that looks like. But moving forward, you might want to have one of those handy. We're first going to start with a bent knee swing. So we're going to pick up one knee, 90-degree angle, and we're just going to swing it forward and backwards. And we're going to do that 12 times. And the idea here would be to eventually get to a place where we don't need something to help us. So getting better at our balance. We're doing this 12 times. And one of the ways to help you balance is to create tension in your body. So you want to squeeze your hips and squeeze your abs. When you're done with that side, you're going to go to the next side. And also getting your arms into it is a great way to create more balance as well, because everything's connected. So you're creating even more tension in the body. Okay? Next, we're going to go to a balancing press. So we're just going to lift one leg, or we can just put our heel on the ground right in front of us, and we're going to reach all the way over the crown of our head, straight elbow. You guys can't see me here because I think I'm a little cut off, but straight elbow over the top of your head, down and up. And you're going to do 6 of these on each side. So here's where you eventually want to be, having good balance on one leg. And here's where you might be starting today, or you might be using that stick. So we're shooting for 6 of those on each side, trying to really get a straight elbow over the crown of our head. Reach, extend, creating better range of motion in the shoulder. Next, we're going to go for a balanced reach. This is a little trickier. We're going to again lift one leg. We're going to bow over as we kick back and reach. Again, some of you might just be here today. What I want you to do is just stick with it. If you feel like you're going to fall out, hang on to it. So therefore, your body remembers you hanging on to it, and eventually you become even more stable. Your body is actually learning during the times where you feel like you're unstable. So we're going to reach 6 times on each side. And even myself, sometimes I can get a little wonky if I'm not really focusing. So you're really trying to connect your mind to your muscles, thinking about your hips, thinking about your glutes, thinking about your abs. And then the next one, we're gonna do some hinging. So your hips are a very powerful part of your body. There's a lot of energy here, and we tend to underutilize that. We tend to overutilize our joints, such as our shoulders and our knees, but your hips are a much larger joint. So we're going to bow over again, leading with the hips and reach, come forward, squeeze the glutes. And if you've been following T this whole week, I've done this with you a few times already. Okay, so you're gonna extend the hip back, come forward, and squeeze those glutes. And you're shooting for 12 of those. Okay, and then next we're gonna be doing those straddle sumo squats. So from here, we're just gonna step out, make sure our toes are pointed to the side, lead with the hips and squat, step in, out, squat, in. When you squat, make sure again, leading with the hips. You don't wanna push those knees forward, and just shoot for about 6 to 8 of these. Hips back, try to keep a tall chest here. Okay, and then last 2, we're gonna do some cross body toe taps. So again, wide stance, extend the arms. We're gonna cross one hand to the other toe. So opposite hand to opposite toe and reach. Okay, and again, when we bend over, we're leading with those hips. So the hips are going back first. All right, this one should be really getting your heart rate up if it hasn't already. And last one is our Jack and Jills. If you feel like getting a little burst in, let's go ahead and use those feet. 12 of those. Okay, and that's it for today. Just a little sneak peek of what's to come. Thanks, T.
Thanks, Liz. I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that first, because now I'm like out of breath as we come back, but that's so great. I love it. Okay. So I'm going to just go back to the gallery view, check out the chats. All right. So the question was, have you done nutritional shakes before? If so, what do you like about it? What do you put in them? What kind of powders do you use, etc.? So I'm going to go ahead and read these, even though I'm out of breath right now. And by the way, every time you get out of breath, you're doing a burst, you're having an impact on your hormones, which is really terrific. So hi, Jackie. I'm just seeing a few people for the first time on here. And there's Mickey. Look at that. Awesome. Catherine, fantastic. Okay. Holly says, oh, look, Mickey's face is there. Hi. Holly says, shakes are easy, tasty, and a great way to get a meal in when you don't have much time to meal prep. Absolutely. I make a few and put them in the fridge for grab and go. Yeah, that's such a great point. I have a client who's a surgeon who does this, and he makes 6 at a time and takes them to the hospital with him. Nancy says she added spinach, but it's been years. Her sister's never done the cleanse before, and she's watching now. Okay, super. So Nancy, I hope your sister's not getting intimidated, because you definitely don't have to make shakes, but it's great to, like I said, have the skill of being able to make a shake so that you have an easy button that you can do from time to time. Nana says, I've done shakes through the program. I love them. My favorite is the chocolate protein powder with spinach, almond milk, walnuts, and blueberries. Awesome. Sometimes I'll add half a cucumber and a little keto cream. Fantastic. And one little tip that we've been doing is we've been buying avocados when they're on sale, and then we cut them up into thirds or whatever and put them in the freezer, quarters would be the way you want to cut them. And they're awesome in shakes. They really add some richness and some creaminess. And same thing with some cucumbers that are about to go bad really fast. And so you can just cut those up into chunks, put them in your freezer, and then you'll have them for your shakes. Now, putting frozen stuff in your shakes works great if you have a blender like the Vitamix. if you don't have as good of a blender, hopefully you have the receipt in case you break it. Because before I got a Vitamix, I went through like 6 blenders until I broke down and bought the Vitamix, which will really mix up anything really quickly for you. Rob and Tanette say they love their hormonally balanced shakes. They do 3 servings of veg in them, a healthy fat. They put in the starchy carb and their protein powder and their fiber, and they use the Arbonne protein and fiber. Fantastic. And they just gave us a little heads up about how to make a hormonally balanced meal. Catherine says she's used veggie meal and veggie meal, and it used to bloat her. So that's a really interesting point. So Catherine, I'm wondering if you remember whether it was the veggie meal or the Veggie Cleanse or the combination. Design for Health has a specific supplement that's called hydrolyzyme. And I'm going to write that in here because it's a super weird hydrolyzyme. Oh, it's going to hydrolyzyme. Close to right, but it may not be exactly right. And it's an enzyme that they created specifically to help break down protein powders. So I highly recommend that. I personally use a supplement called Digeszymes, and I'm just looking to see if it's in here. Is this it? Oh yeah, here it is. So also a Designs for Healther. The reason I have Digeszymes is I need it for food also. So if you ever feel gassy or bloated, your body's not breaking down whatever you've eaten. Last night I had a big thing of spaghetti squash with some marinara and a big salad, and afterwards, super gassy. So I took a bunch of Digeszymes. I took like 3, I think. And so anytime after this class, by the way, we're going to be running the gut class. And one of the principles from the gut class is anytime you have a reactive stomach or digestive system in any way, it means you haven't digested properly. So adding a digestive aid is super important so that you absorb the nutrients. Otherwise, the bacteria is going to ferment it and create more problems with it. So Catherine, I would suggest trying to get an enzyme from Designs for Health for the shakes. And then sometimes people are more reactive to paleo cleanse, to veggie cleanse. And so I might have you start at a much smaller dose of that and then see how that works. And if shakes aren't for you, then maybe you do a food meal and then have a little bit of veggie cleanse on the side. Okay. And Antoinette says, she's trying to translate for people who don't know the VitaliTi vocabulary, that a non-starchy carb, she uses a starchy carb, like we call berries a starchy carb, but also puts in non-starchy carbs, which are the veggies. All right, so great, everybody. Thank you for that. And then the next thing, oh wait, Mickey says, I tend to be hungry about 1.5 to 2 hours after a smoothie and sometimes gassy. Yeah, so here's what I think. When we get started on Thursday talking about menu planning, it's really important what you put in your meals, and shake being a meal, that if you don't get enough veggies in your meal, if you're not having 3 servings of veggies, whether they go into your shake or whether they are on the side of your shake, then you're going to be much more prone to be hungry, because what happens is the veggies are really helping to fill you up. And if you don't have that much fiber, then a lot of times you're going to be hungry. So for people that don't love putting veggies into their shakes, then what they can do is they can have a salad on the side. So like sometimes I'll make, with the Arbonne protein in particular, I'll make a really thick, we call it ice cream. It's sort of a loose term, but I might put avocado in it as well. And the protein powder, a lot of ice, and then some of the organic toasted coconut almond milk that I use. And so we'll make it really thick, and I'll have that for dessert. So then for dinner, I have a lot of veggies. So I might make a big salad. We might have a stir fry, whatever we're having, and our protein shake is for dessert. So for those of you who get hungry, you want to think of the protein shake is the protein, but because we're also trying to get 3 servings of veg, you might have some side vegetable dishes with your shake. In addition, you can put the vegetables into the shake, as we were talking about. Sometimes it's more convenient to be one and done. So you just blend everything together, drink it, and you're done. But remembering that if you're getting hungry, you're probably not getting your 3 servings of veg. And by serving, we mean a cup if it's leafy, a half a cup if it's chopped, like chopped broccoli or something like that, and less if it's cooked because it'll shrink down. But that's a serving. So maybe not getting enough of that, or you might not be getting enough healthy fat. So I know Laura is on the call, Laura Howard, and she is a metabolic machine. She swims and super active, and her body just has a really high metabolism. So when she's doing the program, or she's, you know, making her diet healthier, I always have her increase her healthy fats. So in Vitality, we start with 1 serving of fat per meal, but you definitely have to put a serving of fat in your shakes. So that could be like 2 teaspoons of chia seeds or flax seeds, or 2 tablespoons, sorry. You want to get at least 5 grams of fat as your fat. So you could add hemp seeds, you could add almond butter, something like that. Go ahead and type in the comments what you guys like as your healthy fats in your shakes. But one of the reasons people get hungry is they leave out their healthy fat. The last reason people get hungry is they add fruit to their shakes, and too much high glycemic fruit. So while berries work fine, we do a 1/4 cup as the serving for women and a 1/2 cup for men. They're very low glycemic. If you put anything else in the shake and you're not having it as a recovery drink, which is a whole separate topic, so you're just having it as a meal shake, but you add bananas or pineapple or mango or any of those delicious fruits. Fruit has something in it called fructose. And fructose actually has a compound in it that suppresses leptin. Leptin is one of the hormones that makes you feel full and satisfied. So it causes you to overeat. And in nature, it's biological, because let's say we were a bear and we came across the big berry bush. We'd want to be able to eat all the berries that were there. So it plays an important role biologically, but now it doesn't, because it can actually make you overeat. So that may be the other thing, is just having too many high glycemic fruits, period, in the shake. So Vicki, if any of those, or Mickey, if any of those sound like they might be the one, go ahead and type that into the chat. And then the last thing I'll say is that it could be the brand of shake. So if you're using Designs for Health or Arbonne, I feel really confident about that. I've had so many people use them. But other shakes, the nutritional profile might not be right. It might have something inflammatory in it, or an ingredient that is not working well with your system that causes you to get hungry earlier. All right, so back to the chat. We've got, let's see, we've got Liz is saying almond butter, chia seeds, hemp seeds, awesome for her healthy fats. Antoinette, organic raw nuts, almond butter, and avocado, fantastic. Mickey, almond butter. Now, peanut butter is on her list, but I'm going to recommend no peanuts on the cleanse, because they're a legume and they're one of the top inflammatory foods, particularly an allergen for a lot of people. Even if you don't have a peanut allergy, I recommend you leave out peanut butter for this one. They're not actually a nut, they're a legume. So, but back to the list. Let's see, chia seeds, coconut butter. Oh, coconut butter, that's an awesome food. Coconut butter, also known as coconut manna, is basically coconut that's all mixed together. So the oils, the meats, the fibers, everything, it's delicious. Holly says she loves adding walnuts or roasted walnut oil to her shakes. Oh, fantastic. Walnuts are great because they're high in omega-3s, just like flax, chia, hemp. And omega-3s are very anti-inflammatory, so I highly recommend those. Laura says, oh, cashew butter, yum, and chia seeds. Okay. Mickey says, aha, she needs a protein that isn't pea, and so she's using whey protein. So that's probably the problem. So whey protein, eggs, casein, all of those as protein have a direct impact on insulin. So they actually raise insulin very quickly, the same way that if you had a bunch of high sugar fruits, that those would raise your blood sugar and raise insulin. So we don't want to use those on the cleanse. So Mickey, we'll talk offline. If you have a sensitivity to pea protein, we'll look for something else, maybe like a hemp seed shake or something, rice, something like that, basically, instead. Okay, so back to the supplements then. The other nutrient that we use on the cleanse is the colon RX. So I'm going to just show you that. Looks like this little teeny tiny bottle, nice, easy to swallow capsule. Looks like that. So the colon RX is really key, because when we're talking about detoxification, getting rid of those toxins that are stored in our fat, the colon is one way the body gets rid of toxins. So we want to increase the transit time of the toxins leaving the body. And so the colon RX really helps with that. So I'm going to try again to share my screen and let's see if this works. Okay, aha. Now you guys can see the Veggie Cleanse. I figured out what I was doing wrong. I was taking you to the wrong screen. And then within the Zippi materials, there is a section basically that goes through the different supplements. So this is the colon RX and how to use the colon RX. There's a page on working out and being active and what you might do around that, adding your recovery drink, that kind of thing. So there's plenty of information in the materials. So if you're already registered, you can take a look at that. And I'm in the, I'm in the supplemental materials. So that's where all of that is. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about are the detoxification support packets. So these are a lifesaver for a lot of us. My box is downstairs actually. So these are probably my favorite supplement from Designs for Health because they basically, if you have more than 20 pounds to lose, they really make sure that you're not stuck in what I call the seesaw. And the seesaw is basically when you are losing fat, but then you gain inflammation, and then that inflammation causes you to recapture fat. So in your Tanita numbers, what that looks like from week to week is fat mass goes down, inflammation, TBW goes up. Then the next week it switches. And it's super annoying because you don't make as much progress as you would make if you were addressing the toxic load. So the detox support packets twice a day are so helpful. Now, Anu made the point that the ingredients are really similar to the Veggie Cleanse. However, because there's no protein in them, there's no digestive process where there could be, it could keep it from being absorbed as easily. So in the supplemental form, it's more direct and it pays, there's a different set of supplements in those packets. So it has an LVGB, which is a liver gallbladder supplement. So it supports the gallbladder and the liver, which is really important if you don't have a gallbladder, but important for anyone who has trouble digesting. In particular, one of the tests I ran on myself showed me that I had some fat in my stool. So that LVGB is really important. It has bile in it, and it helps your body to digest fat, including your body fat. So that's really important. It has the detox antioxidant. It's a really strong antioxidant to protect your body from any toxins that get released as you're losing weight. And then it also has those sulfur amino acids. But because it doesn't have any food along with it, then it's easier for your body to absorb those. So not everybody uses the detox support packets. I do use them. I'm prone to get headaches when I start cleansing. If you have any symptoms like headaches, sugar withdrawal, anything like that, you feel nauseous, you feel really emotional, then I recommend using them. So if you've ever used the detoxification support packets, go ahead and type into the chat box how they helped you. And let's just read out a little bit of those comments. So go ahead and type in if you've used them before, what they did for you, how they helped. Like I said, one of the things we give up on the cleanse, I hope I'm not letting this out of the bag, is coffee. So I've been addicted to coffee many times, and going off of coffee always gives me a headache. So they solve that. I'm prone to headaches anyway. So Liz says she's used them. She gets headaches when she's cleansing. Yep, same as me. So this is vital. And, especially right now, we don't want to be taking ibuprofen. You normally don't want to take it, but especially with COVID. Anu takes them twice a day, and LVGB pills. In addition, in the middle, she was doing keto, so she was eating higher fat, which makes sense, but her numbers got so good. And basically to stop that seesaw where you want to just have a direct route to your weight loss and not have one go up and the other go down and then switch and then switch. So really helpful. Awesome. Holly says her first cleanse, she had flu type symptoms and she was in a big fog. Yeah. And she has no gallbladder. So it's really important for her to use them. Yeah, that's the other one, is brain fog. So sometimes what happens when you go on a cleanse like this and you remove some of your go-to stimulants like coffee and sugar and gluten and things like that, things get worse before they get better. And also, as your body starts to burn fat for fuel, like I said, it's unearthing those toxins. And if you're not properly detoxifying, then those can really get in the way. All right. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to put you guys back to gallery mode. And I would just invite you to come off of mute and chime in with any questions or comments or anything like that. Or you can also put them in the chat if you have a lot of background noise. And I'll just take your questions or your comments.
First, I want to say thank you. I've done this, what was it, 5 or 7 years ago? And I did 3 rounds of them, and I lost 25 pounds my first round with you. Going through divorce and COVID. And I love that I see all the women. It's so great, because I'm really happy you talked about this last supplement, because that's one of the reasons. I mean, there's other reasons, but my biggest fear about losing weight isn't the losing weight part or the feeling good part. I'm terrified of how I'm going to feel, and I usually get shaky when I cut out coffee and all my little sugars, because I get really insane. Like, I feel like my willpower gets, I feel like I run a multi-million-dollar business, but I feel literally like no control, to the point where I think I need to hire a psychiatrist because I have a food problem. But I'm giving it another try with you, T.
I'm so glad, Mickey. I'm so glad. And you know, the more I learn about nutrition, and I'm constantly learning, the more I realize our biology is at the root of why we feel crazy about food. So the other day we talked a lot about my hardest time of the day is after 7. And a lot of other people chimed in with that too. Well, our biology is set up to make what we eat after 7 be stored as fat more easily, and for us to have a higher appetite. Because one of the fastest ways to gain weight is to eat right before you go to bed, or to eat late in the day. And so what happens is, the reason biologically we're wired to want to do that is that gaining weight is a survival mechanism. It's something that bears, for example, do on purpose before they hibernate. And so the fact that we have that hardwired into our biology makes me feel crazy if I want to eat after 7, because I say to myself, you might as well just glue that to your thighs or to your butt or stomach. So I know logically not to do it, yet I do it. And that's what happens when our biology is completely in conflict with what we now know, and we're not in danger of starving. So I think that for me, it has made me feel less and less crazy over the years to learn more about my biology, because then I just realized, okay, my biology has not caught up with, and nor has any of ours, caught up with the fact that we're not in danger of starving. And so all of these compulsions to eat, and when we have sweet stuff to eat more, all of that has a biological root. So I hope, Mickey, that gives you just a little bit of like, okay, it's just my biology, you know, I'm annoyed at it, but it's my biology. It's like my dog, Teddy, like he, you know, will eat a whole bunch and want more and be barking and begging and whatever. And I don't think, oh, he's so crazy. You know, I just think, oh yeah, he just wants to eat till he would throw up or something. And it's because it's his biology, you know, that just pushes him like that. So, but I do think the detox support packets are life-saving for that. And the other thing is probably adding a little bit more fat to your meals. So when we talk on Thursday about meal prep, I'm going to talk about that, because anyone that's worried about removing the other foods and beverages, like our props that we use, I think that adding a little more fat really helps to manage blood sugar. And then the other thing is you don't have to remove caffeine. We're just removing coffee. And if someone feels like they really, really need their coffee, that's not the hill they want to tackle this time, there is a brand of coffee that works much better than other brands. It's by Bulletproof, and it's the Bulletproof coffee beans. And the reason that they work better is they're certified mold-free, no pesticides, low acid. And so they have much less of an impact on toxicity and blood sugar levels and acidity in the body. So that is an option. Water processed decaf is an option, or doing a caffeinated, awesome organic tea. Like, I like caffeinated black tea. Antoinette said they love a good green tea. Yeah. And so Amy says, hi, Amy, by the way, that she loves matcha, which is terrific. I know my stepdad likes to blend that matcha powder with like a foamy, like not almond milk, but he does something like coconut milk kind of thing. So Nana says black tea. Yeah. And teas are high in antioxidants. They have theanine in them, so they're a mellower high, so they don't take us as high and they don't drop us as low. But I think that those things really help as well as we're going off of coffee, and we will talk more about those things on Thursday. Thank you for the comments. I really appreciate that. Yeah. And Liz asked, why no ibuprofen? You know, I need to look into that, Liz, about why that is, but I heard that on a Designs for Health call that I was on, and I've heard it, you know, anecdotally, a lot of people talking about it. So let me get some more information and then I'll get back to you. In general, no ibuprofen. That's like a general thing that I've said to people, unless it's an emergency, because basically it's really hard on the gut. So it destroys the gut lining. I had a GI client who basically had been taking ibuprofen since he was 10. And by the time he got to college, he had uncontrollable diarrhea, like several times a day. So it does so much to wreck our digestive system. Also, inflammation is part of the body's healing mechanism. So when you get inflamed, you're bringing white blood cells and resources to that area of the body. Same with a fever. A fever is how the body cures itself. So it's a really fine line around reducing inflammation or fevers and letting the body use its own mechanism to heal. Part of the reason we don't want inflammation is, or if we know where the source is coming from, is it takes a lot of resources. So we don't want to have our immune system so busy dealing with that if we know what the source is, like if it were gluten or dairy or something like that, and we can just take that out. So Holly said it's really tough on the liver. That would be ibuprofen, but she knows from personal experience, yeah, that it's brutal to the digestive system too. Yeah. There is a really great anti-inflammatory from Designs for Health that is called Inflammatone. And when I used to work in a chiropractic office that was a pain clinic, we used Inflammatone together with MSM as an anti-inflammatory. And then, as I mentioned, the detox support packets were great for things like headaches and stuff like that. So thank you so much for that, Nikki. And any other questions or comments? Amy, look at your cute picture. Amy is a Zumba instructor, and if we can get it together, she's going to do a quick 10-minute Zumba for us one day. Oh, there she is. Awesome. You're on mute. Let me unmute you. She's saying something good. Okay, what did you say, Amy?
I'm switching my kids' rooms, so I'm just working as I listen, so that's why I had the picture up. So you don't have to see the message.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Holly just said hi, Amy. So any other questions or comments about supplements, shakes, you know, anything you're concerned about relative to the cleanse that I could answer? Anybody have any questions
Really quick,
about that?
did you send out a list of all the supplements?
I have not done anything like that, so I will. So just make sure that you're all registered, so I have that list of names, and then I will send that via email. It's also in the materials already, if anybody wants to go into the materials and dig it out, but I'm going to just send it because then you'll have it. By the way, to get to the materials for people who, oops, hold on. I just went there without sharing my screen. Hold on one second. Oh, learn. Okay, so here we go. To get to the materials, what you do is you go to VitaliTi Wellness. and then you go to class materials, and then this time we're going to go to Zippi, and then it will ask you for a password, which I've already entered in. And then from here, you have these nutrition books, basically. So we have the guide to leaning in, which is what we're going to go through on Thursday when we menu plan. We have the quick start materials, which have your charts, the supplemental materials, not to be confused with supplement, but supplemental, which include things about workouts and cleansing. We've got the recipes, which are amazing, the supplements, which go through what I went through today, and then the easy button schedule, which is for people using shakes, what that is. And then also right here is a list of kind of the basics for the cleanse. And then in our online store, there's some discount codes, which you guys can use. So those are there as well. Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, so what are you guys taking out of this call? Just in the chat box, just type, you know, what you learned or what you're committed to or what you're feeling, just anything like that, just something in the chat box. I like to just wrap it up with what you're taking out of today's call. All right, Liz says this week is dedicated to getting products. Fantastic. Yes. And Mickey says it's great to see a community that we can all go through this together. Yeah, Mickey, the Power Up, which I did last week, was so much fun that way, just getting together like this. I looked forward to it every day, and it's been really great. Any other takeaways that you got to write in the chat box? All right, so, and Amy says, she knows she missed a bunch of the call, but she really likes having the accountability and getting reassured by people. I think that's what, reassured? Okay, and Nikki said also getting products, can't wait. And Laura says, want to do menu planning with her daughters. Yeah, so Laura, invite them on the call on Thursday. Has so to people, yeah, that's so okay, I got this.